Yo, yo, what up? It's your girl Joy, the hip hop parfum, and welcome to the Lighthouse. In 2026, we made it. Ooh, okay. And I'm finally giving y'all what you all deserve. An episode of the podcast. This is episode 014. Okay, you haven't had a podcast episode in like 7 months, I believe it was. Okay. And so we're going to pick up where we left off. In this episode, we will be discussing Clipse, Let God Sort Em Out. Okay, you see it, official tour merch. Okay, I went not one time, but 2 times. Okay, yeah. So we got Malice and Pusha, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton Road, 757. We standing up. Okay. We are hyped. We are excited. They got Pharrell on the beats. Okay, we got some heavy stuff to cover. Well, not heavy, but you know, it's real. We're going to break it down like we always do. Okay, so I'm here. You're here. We're going to get in there. Okay, and so right now what you should be seeing is the chart for the album Let God Sort Em Out, released on Friday, July 11th at, well, I put 6 a.m., okay, because the album was made in Paris at the whole Louis Vuitton situation, you know, Pharrell creative director. So they did the whole album in Paris, okay, at Louis headquarters, right? And so midnight here is 6 a.m. there. Okay, so we got a lot for the time difference. It wouldn't be midnight in Paris. It would be, you know, that would be a different time. You got to make sure, you know what I'm saying, when you dipping off, that you got your time zones right. Okay, and so this is the first album that we've done that is outside of the continental United States. It's not even on the same continent. Okay, they did the album in Eurasia. Okay, Eurasia's just one big continent. It's not just Asia and Europe. They one big landmass. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna be looking at my notes. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my iPad and my notes, and I'm gonna be talking to you. Okay, so we're not gonna do song by song. Okay, I told myself I got to get out of that. So that's what I am going to be doing. Okay, I got notes in blue and notes in orange. So, yeah, we're just going to start with the overall. Okay, the overall vibe, feel, frequency. Okay. Very heavy on the religion this album is. You know, all of their albums have some type of religious title or context. So it's not like out of the ordinary. But I think for this in particular, we're going to have to look to Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter in the 12th house in Cancer. And of course, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius and 9th house. So we have to look there. You see North Node. Okay, you get in there. And so overall, okay, I feel like this album really changed the game. Or the game itself. When I say the game, I'm talking about like the rap game, hip hop, the industry. Okay, it's ever changing. And so having someone that you can count on, somebody that is dependable, i.e. a brother, okay, is very necessary during a time like this, especially for this particular album. Okay, there is a need for relationship. You can look and see 7th house, okay, is relationship. You got the moon there and you have Pluto retrograde. Okay, how many planets were retrograde during this album? Neptune and Pluto were retrograde, so that's not too bad. Okay, you know, we expect Pluto to be retrograde at least half the year. Okay, so Neptune was retrograde in Aries. This was right before it probably doubled back to Pisces. So I'm trying to, my notes look crazy. Okay, look. Okay, I got to decipher this. Even though I like, yeah, I just did the orange. The blue had been done for months, but I had to double check my work is basically what I was doing. Okay. So we are going to get right into it. And I want to start off, well, obviously we're going to start off with the rising sign, rising in Cancer, and Sun in Cancer conjunct the rising. Okay. That moon is a full moon, okay, in Capricorn. You can see it right across there in the 7th house. Okay, only a difference of about 3 degrees. Okay, so very, very tight conjunction, very tight. Okay, so for the sun being in Cancer and the moon being in Capricorn, this is a full moon. Okay, and so I think, well, not I think, but the astrology points to, okay, the need for relationship, okay, or connectivity. And that, well, when you have a full moon, that brings about a need for relationship. And I'm not talking about romantic, y'all. When I say relationship, it just means some type of connectivity with another person. That's all it means. Like, just hold your horses, okay? So the need for relationship, okay, brings in emotional security. You know, we've been sitting with the album for months now. We're about to enter Grammy season. The album is Grammy nominated, Malice Grammy nominated, MC Verse of the Year, okay? All the things. But in all the interviews, we're gonna get into the publicist side, the public relations, okay, as we go on. But as they were doing their rollout, doing all of their interviews, Pusha cited that he not missed his brother just for the camaraderie, but, you know, just to navigate the crazy industry. Like, it's a lot of devious things going on. And he wanted somebody that he knew he could trust, somebody that was dependable. Okay? Dependable is the word. Okay? In the industry that is ever changing, okay, you want some type of stability there, okay? And that is the Capricorn energy. That is the stability there, okay? Somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that can plan ahead, somebody that is organized, prepared, somebody that has achieved a certain level of success so they're not, wet behind the ears, okay? So the game can be devious, very covert, very manipulative, okay? That is all the Cancer energy right there. Okay, that's all the Cancer energy right there. That's unhealthy Cancer, but it's still Cancer, okay? In an industry that is devious, that is covert, that is manipulative, always doing something behind your back, you want somebody that you can depend on, somebody that you can trust, okay? Somebody that you can cling to when the times get rough. Okay, and so we obviously open up the album with Birds Don't Sing. Clearly, obviously, dedication to mom and dad, who are also represented by that full moon opposition, the sun moon opposition. A sun moon opposition is a full moon. A sun moon conjunction is a new moon. Okay, so to have that open us up, okay, and you have what? I'm still on Sun and Cancer, sorry. Okay, that takes us to birds. Okay, birds don't sing. I listed next to birds, I wrote Jupiter in Cancer, 12th house. That's where Jupiter is, okay? This song opens us up, or opens them up, and shares with them shares with the audience, us, the listener, a level of vulnerability that a lot of MCs and rappers don't necessarily tap into during these times, even though they should. It would make you more relatable, okay? But their capacity for faith, Okay, that is all Jupiter. Anything religious is Jupiter. Spirituality is Pisces. No, they are not the same. We're not going to get into it, but just hold on to that thought. Okay, the capacity for faith, right? Cancer is sensitivity, emotional responses, unconditional love. Okay, and so both verses, Pusha and Malice's verse, opens up with them talking about how they reacted once they found out their parents respectively had passed away, separate days, but like a few months apart. And so to open up with something so vulnerable, okay, shows a sensitive side. And even Pusha talks about how he was traveling Jupiter after he spoke to his mom and found out that she had passed away. You know, he was on his way to Texas. Okay, and Virginia called him, his wife. All right. And so I think mother, obviously, we know is Cancer. And then father, we know is Capricorn or Saturn. And so to have those two energies be opposite each other, and then having the way, you know, the way their parents transitioned, you know, it is definitely reflected in the charts of this album. Okay. And so let me see, where else are we going to go? Okay. 12th house. Jupiter's in the 12th house, right? 12th house is ruled by who? Yes, Pisces, Neptune. And so Pisces, Neptune is all about oneness with God, unity, and loss, endings. Okay? End of life, loss of life. And when that happens, you what? You reunite with who? Your higher power, in this case, God. Okay? And so and reuniting with them, each other, themselves. Malice says, chivalry ain't dead, you ain't let her go alone. Come on now. Come on now. I'm about to get tears. I can't even listen to Birds in real life, for real, for real. I can't believe I listened to it twice before even doing this daggone pod. Okay. So now it might be a little all over the place. I'm trying to go in order. Okay. I'm trying. But tradition. This album is traditional hip hop. You let Pusha tell it. If you tell Pharrell that this is boom bap, you might get cut. Okay? Figuratively. Okay? But it's a traditional hip hop album. And we're going to get into that more deeply as the pod goes on, as the episode goes on as well. Okay? Working with grief. Having an empathetic audience. Okay? All of that is represented in this Jupiter and Cancer in the 12th house. They, in the song Birds Open Up, they are telling you how they worked through the grief, how they worked through the loss of their parents, right? Us, we are the empathetic audience. We empathize. Everyone has or will lose a parent, okay? And it's something that you don't know how to deal with until it happens. Okay? Somebody that you look to as a parent. You know, I'm trying to cover all my bases because I know somebody, we're not doing all of that. Save the drama. Okay? We're here strictly for the tea. Okay? So, birds. That was birds. Next up, chains and whips, which is going to take us to Saturn in Aries, 10th house. Now, I love this. Oh, baby, I love this. Sacrifice. They sacrificed everything for a single Kendrick Lamar verse. Okay? The label, Def Jam, didn't want to put it out. They sacrificed the album or their record deal for a single Kendrick Lamar verse. Now we know now what the verse is. We are hype about the verse. We love the verse down, right? Neptune is sextile Uranus. Okay, I'm taking you from 10th house, Neptune, Aries, into the 11th house. Uranus is 0 degrees Okay, in Gemini, Uranus is at home in the 11th house. Okay, so please understand that this sextile, soft aspect, okay, literally liberated them from the record label that was too nervous to put the album out. Where is it? Where's the fear? Where's the fear? Where the Saturn stuff at? We're gonna double back on it. We're gonna double back. But the label wanted to control, they wanted to suppress, because they were all afraid. Everybody was scared of Drake and his lawyers. And then you see how that went, right? So they shocked everybody. I'm sure the people at the label were shocked. And we were all shocked to know, I'm sure, like Def Jam, y'all was that scared to put out the Kendrick verse that you told them that they couldn't put out the album? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I know they feel dumb now, but I mean, whatever. That means they didn't have enough faith in their artists to put the work out anyway. But that's another story. That's another story. Yeah, so that's the sextile to Uranus. Okay, Neptune. Now, some of these placements, we're going to be doubling back because of the aspects. The aspects tell you how the relationship between the placements can play out. Okay, because another person looking at this chart might say something totally different than what I'm going to say. Okay, so Uranus, 0 degrees in Gemini in the 11th house. Shock. Because Venus is right there in Gemini in the 11th house with Uranus. Is that a... Yep, conjunction. Conjunction, junction. Okay. Next, we are going to Pluto in Aquarius, 7th house. Okay, right there next to the moon. Right there next to the moon. It's not a conjunction, though. Not a conjunction. The moon is at 22 degrees and Pluto is 2 degrees. 30 degrees per house. So it missed it by about 10 degrees. If it was a little closer, then yes, but no cigar. Okay, so Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is also trine Venus in Uranus. Okay, a trine is a soft aspect. Okay, but POV, where are you? Where are your notes? Dang. All right, so Pluto in Aquarius in the 7th house is letting us know, the listener is reflecting that the group, the Clipse, will not allow anyone to degrade, project evil, corrupt, destroy, or demean this work that they have released, this project. Okay? And people are like, what do you mean 7th house? What does that have to do with anything? The 7th house is public relations. They went, remember I brought up the rollout, right? All the interviews that they did. Okay. The different outlets that they chose were core hip hop platforms. They wasn't on the Breakfast Club. I don't even remember. They did Joe Budden. They did Ebro and them. They did the Apple Music. I think they even went on $1 Million Worth of Game. They went on the shows that they knew would not water down or, like I said, degrade, project a negative image, corrupt or destroy what it is, the integrity or the quality of the work. Okay? They had to maintain, a certain level of decorum. And Aquarius energy is just like, this is the only way you are going to break through, right? You are not competing with the NBAs and the YNs and these other people. You are your own thing. And the only way to break through, Aquarius, is to go to these news outlets, okay? Do the public relations on certain types of platforms to maintain a level of quality and sophistication in air, okay, to what was to come, the album, okay? So if you dare to do that, Aquarius will cut you off. You will be detached, okay? We are not here to undermine, okay? We are only going on platforms that are here to empower, that are here to renew, okay? Because it's been years since Clipse, anything. I mean, you had a few songs here and there, but you know what I mean, a full project? No, y'all ain't messing this up. I went to the last Clipse concert in the hometown, and I went to the first one when they came back. I just had to throw that out there. But yeah, so you will not, okay, treat our project like you do those other kids, like you do those kids. We grown, real grown, okay? Okay. And shout out to their team, okay? Because the social media team had to be on it. Everybody, the publicists, the bookings, everybody had to be on their square to pull this off, okay? Had to be on your bestest behavior, okay? So we are going to go right on over to Mercury in Leo's second house, okay? Mercury in Leo's second house. The second house is intercepted, which means the eighth is also intercepted. And what intercepted house? You have an intercepted sign as well. But an intercepted house is just when one sign takes over a full house. Okay, sometimes you'll have houses that have maybe like 2 or 3 signs, but a house is intercepted when a single sign, okay, has basically intercepted, say, this is my sign. Leo was like, no, I'm taking second. And then Scorpio was like, all right, well, I'll take Aquarius then. Aquarius was like, I'll take the eighth. This is whatever. What we doing? Ain't no placements. So Aquarius is like, fine. But Mercury and Leo, okay, they solved their label dispute in a very commendable way. Okay, they didn't talk trash about them. We didn't even know any of this was happening. Most artists, these young kids, they're gonna, I'm mad at my label. Whoop whop, they won't release the album. Y'all, you see how Uzi Vert got y'all with the okie doke? That was never even the issue. It was just a way to garner attention. Okay, and so they solved the problem. Okay, Mercury is a problem solver because it rules Virgo. Okay, the Virgo side of Mercury is a problem solver. Okay, and how you solve the problem, okay, is where the sign comes in. Okay, Mercury is the problem solving itself. Leo, the sign, is how you're going to solve that problem. Okay, in an admirable way. Okay, dignified, stately, commendable, problem solved. They did it when nobody was watching, nobody knew. Okay, and second house is all about possessions, ownership, right? It was all about the music. Okay, they left Def Jam with the full project. Okay, they possessed, they owned, they brought it with them. That's all they really wanted. Okay, and so that is how Mercury, Leo, second house is reflected with this project. Sometimes, it's not in what they say, or, it's just things that happen in the background, like how this album was birthed, how it came to be. Okay. And think about that in your own birth chart too. It's not always just going to be your behaviors or the things you do and experience. Sometimes it's about how you came to be. Okay. So next, you already kind of did Moon in Capricorn. We talked about dad and emotions and feelings. If I see anything else, I'll just bring that back up. But talked about Mars in Virgo, third house. Yes. Okay, so third house is about siblings. Blah. They brothers. You're doing this album with your brother. I mean, that's not the only thing, but that's just some real surface level I thought I'd bring up. But yeah, so you're doing this album with your brother, but also Mars, excitement. Virgo, we already talked about Virgo's a problem solver, right? But in this case, Virgo is critiquing. Virgo represents all of the rap critics, the hip hop critics, the journalists, all of those people who will be picking, analyzing, okay, and critiquing their album. Okay, the critics were excited for this project. When Aces dropped, what? Jaws dropped. Okay, at the same time, critics are still excited. People, including myself, listened to this album back to back for weeks. We couldn't even get out of the spell, Pisces. Okay, Jupiter 12th house. We couldn't even get out of the enchantment. It was like we were in this fantasy, let God sort them out fantasy world. We were delusional. Okay, we was there. Okay, we was spaced out. We was in the album. Okay, so excitement. The critics were so excited for this album. They were excited and they ate it up. That's why they Grammy nominated. Okay, it's all about the roll out. People need to stop thinking, that it doesn't matter, because it does. Okay, because Mars doesn't have any other aspects outside of a sextile with the rising and an opposition to the midheaven. Okay, Mars ain't got nothing. And what, midheaven is 20 degrees, Mars is 13, so it's just making the opposition to the midheaven. But it's definitely a good size sextile, 5 degrees, okay, to the ascendant, which in turn lets us know the overall, reception of the album. Water, Cancer, reception. Okay, so where are we gonna go next? Where are we gonna go next? Okay, since we're talking about Mercury, let's go to Mercury. One of the signs that Mercury rules. I was about to say Mercury is ruler, but Gemini. Venus in Gemini, 11th house. I told y'all we was going to be bouncy. Okay, so Venus in Gemini. I had wrote down FICO. Okay, for Mars in Virgo, I had wrote down Ibiza. And then for Scorpio, 5th house, Interceptor, I did Mike Tyson. Okay, I ain't going to get into that. But FICO, we got Venus in Gemini. So let me see how I can put this. In order to break through the noise, I told y'all, they had to break through all of the YN type music, okay, because they're traditional hip hop, or what some might call now contemporary hip hop. But in order to break through that, Gemini, you have to capitalize on the Gemini energy. That's why it is, Mercury. I'm looking at Mercury real quick. Yeah, that's like a quintile or something like that. But Mercury is making an aspect to Uranus, which doubles down even more on the Gemini energy. When you have repeated themes like that, okay, like one planet in a particular sign, but another planet in the sign that rules the other planet, that's where that, yes, it's like, I'm gonna get you with all this, whatever the energy is. So Gemini energy is definitely on 1,000, okay, but In order to disrupt the current status flow of this YN music, you have to be clever. You have to be witty. You got to talk about that really happened. Okay? You had to possess all of these skills, okay, so that you can rap as good as the Clipse. Okay? Y'all can't. If they weren't great MCs, they would not have broke through the noise the way that they did. They would not have flipped the industry on its back, because they did. We're going to get into that. But they did. Okay, they did. They definitely did. Okay? And now people want to rap. People want to rap. Same thing happened when Nas said hip hop is dead. Guess what? They stopped mumbling. What happened to mumble rap? People don't even use that phrase no more, okay? They don't even say it because it's not good, okay? That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna just say it's not good. It's not a good look at all, okay? But in order to be this good, okay, you have to possess Venus. You have to possess, okay, this cleverness, this wit. Okay, you have to be able to be quick with the metaphors, quick with the entendres. I don't care if you're doing double, triple, quadruple back handspring. Okay? If you can tumble on a track, you got it. That's all you got. That's all we want. We want words. We want to think. Okay? We want people who are knowledgeable about the things that they are rapping about. I was there firsthand. I did this. This is what I did. I escaped. I'm the only one that was really be free. Walk away and really be free. What does that mean? To really be free. What is he talking about? Quite a few things. I can think of at least 2 off the top. 3 off the top. Okay? All right. Aces, trumpets, did we already do Mercury? Yeah, we did. All right, let's do Neptune in Aries, 11th house. Okay? Neptune, Aries, 10th house. I don't know why I got that. Oh, well. Now, Neptune. I feel, okay, all right, so we got to talk about the midheaven with this. The midheaven is the climax, the apex, the pinnacle. You have reached the mountaintop. You have mastered. You have achieved success. This is the goal. You made it, right? That's what this is. That's what the midheaven is. Achievement. Okay? And I think, well, not I think, the astrology shows, okay, that this project, I mean, they're the Clipse. They've been successful, but this is an even higher level of success. I think this, well, not I think, the astrology shows or reflects that this album transcended their legacy in hip hop. I think, well, the astrology shows that, okay, you cannot deny Clipse nothing. Okay, you cannot deny their lyricism, their skill set, their ability to navigate the game, the industry. They not playing the politics. Okay, they not doing the politics. They had to give you, Aries, something fresh. Okay, something bold, pioneering. Well, what do you mean pioneering and bold? They just released the album. Ain't nobody talking about their parents in this way. Nobody is talking about the ops. Because, you know, Pusha was doing his little Pusha. Pusha was pushing. Okay? Pusha was pushing. Okay? But to get all of the people, get these certain features that they got, okay? These is Pusha people. And some of these people we ain't heard from in I don't even know how long. When the last time y'all heard from John Legend on a track? I'm just saying. Okay? But you cannot deny, okay, they had to do something fresh, Okay. And when I say pioneering, I mean, people always say hip hop is the young man's game. And now it's not just Jay-Z and Nas and the big OGs that are keeping this game afloat. Okay. Clipse is showing you can be 40, 50, 60. If you can rhyme and do a show, you can continue your career. You can keep going. Okay? How to survive, Aries, life, your existence in the rap industry as an MC, as an artist. You can survive if you follow this blueprint. We are pioneering. This is how you do it. You ain't got to be Hove and have a Billy. You ain't got to be Nas. Okay? You can do you as long as you follow these footprints that we put in the sand. Okay? This is how you survive, OG MCs. This is how you have to allow your legacy to exist within this young man's game. We have carved out a new path for you to follow. And no, they're not the first, because I can tell you, Ghostface been dropping albums since, and I listen and get every single one. But now that it's more popular and mainstream to do so, guess what's gonna happen? More legacy acts or contemporary hip hop artists, they're gonna get shows, they're gonna get bookings, and from what I'm hearing, the bookings is off the charts for the contemporary hip hop artists. There's just a new wave. We haven't even really seen this. Now they got the Rock the Bells cruise. Come on, y'all. Come on. Y'all playing. Y'all playing. Okay? What else? What else did I get to? What else did I get to? What did I skip? We did the sun. We did Mercury. We did Mars. We did this. I think we did everything. But I'm going to wrap it up. This was a short episode, but I be trying not to have the episodes be an hour anyway. So this is cool. This is cool. But overall, okay, that is why Jupiter, okay, in Cancer, but then you also have Pisces in the 9th house, majority 9th house, okay? And y'all remember when I talked about intercepted, you see the 9th house has 2 signs, Aquarius with Pisces. And then if you look at, what is that? Aries is actually hitting 3 houses. Aries is hitting the 10th house and 11th. Oh, sorry. Where am I seeing 3? Anyway, but Jupiter being in the 12th house and then having 9th house ruled by Jupiter in Pisces, that is a repeating theme, okay? So that's why you get the heavy religion, heavy spirituality, oneness with God, the duality, the unity, okay? Parents reuniting in the afterlife, loss, endings, fresh new beginnings, because we are starting it's not a revolution, it is the evolution. We are moving, helping to push, okay, Aries, I ain't even think about this, I'm just saying it, helping to push hip hop forward in this way, okay, for for the people that come behind us. If NBA or whoever follows our blueprint, he can go on forever. Because at first, before you could have streaming and independent shows, everything had to be done by the label. Now you can do a Russ, okay, and have your own situation, okay? Book your own tours. Do like Chris Brown do when he do his own everything, because he don't trust nobody. He ain't got no brother in the industry. I wish he did. But that's another story. So far ahead, I even put Uranus, Gemini, 11th house for that. And Glorious, I did 8th house and Aquarius. Okay. By the grace of God, Oh, that's supposed to be Sun in Cancer. Okay. Then Let God Sort Em Out. Chandeliers with Nas. Neptune, Aries. Nas is the GOAT. Okay? Nas is the GOAT. So Neptune, Aries, conjunct Saturn, right after the midheaven in the 10th house. Oh, you'd have made it. You'd have made it. Okay? No, they couldn't get Jay-Z, but we got some Jay-Z mumbling. But we got Nas. Okay? We got Mr. Jones. Let's see. I'm just going through to make sure that I said everything that I needed to say. All in all, this album, this chart reflects that Pusha and Malice needed each other. Even before they started working on the album, they didn't know their parents was going to pass away. They was doing the music. This was a long time ago when they had did all of this. Then Def Jam came in and was like, oh, no, you can't do it. Then, I don't know the timeline, but then parents passed away. Everything happens for a reason. You gotta have faith. Jupiter. This whole album is about having faith in your relationships, okay? Having faith in yourself as far as your career is concerned, knowing that you are going to put in the work to be successful as long as you stay true to yourself, okay? Be who you are. Facts, knowledge, okay? Self-awareness. Hello. Okay. We are not here to water down what it is that we do. We are here to bring you a whole brick and not no stepped on shit. All right, y'all. Well, I hope y'all liked it. We gonna see. But yeah, the next episode, I am going to do part 2 to hip hop. Okay, I will link part 1 down after this video ends. And so I'll see y'all next time. Peace.